Hello, I'm 14-year-old sports writer William Scott, making my Elite Eight picks for Week 8. We're, already 8 weeks into the season. Season's going by pretty fast. A lot of good games this weekend, so we'll get started on the Elite Eight picks. We'll start with number 8. Number 12, Mississippi State versus Middle Tennessee. Mississippi State, they are 6-0 this season. They have just looked incredible. They're undefeated. I mean, Tyler Russell has just really stepped up, and he's been a great quarterback for Mississippi State. But they're going into this game. They're undefeated, number 12 team in the country, and they're facing Middle Tennessee, a team that is definitely going to be going for a big upset there. Middle Tennessee is a very dangerous team. They are 4-2. It's still a very dangerous team. I expect this to be a very close game, but I think Mississippi State and Tyler Russell pull away in the end. I'm picking Mississippi State in this game. 34-21 Bulldogs. Number 7, I'm going to go with Florida. Number 7 is Florida State and Miami. Florida State, disappointing loss to NC State a couple weeks ago. And then last week, a very impressive win, 51-7. So, I think that the South Florida game wore them out, and therefore they weren't as good against NC State. I do expect them to win this game. I think it's going to be very close, though. E.J. Manuel, he's in the Heisman race and all this hype, and then he gets beat by NC State. Let's see if he can get back in the Heisman race. I think he'll win this game. I think it'll be a lot closer than a lot of people expect, though. 41-37 Florida State in this game. Number 6, number 24 Iowa State, big surprise this season, versus Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State's 3-2, big, definitely a must-win for them here. Trying to avoid going 3-3. And Iowa State, they beat number 15 TCU, almost beat number 17 Texas Tech, and almost beat number 4 Kansas State. This is a very dangerous team. They upset Oklahoma State last year, ruined their BCS title hopes. So I think that this is definitely I think that Iowa State will win this game. The funny thing is they don't really have a standout player. They haven't had a player that's making all the big plays. They're so even on talent. But I think they'll come away with the victory here, 37-34 Iowa State. And number 25, Texas versus Baylor. Ooh, Texas. 2 definitely hard losses in a row. They just got whipped by OU. Goodness gracious. And then Big Tex burned down. That should be a distraction to them. Yeah, if you haven't heard, the big statue at the Texas State Fair burned down this morning, Friday morning. So definitely a disappointment for some Texans. I think that Baylor is going to win this game. I think it'll be fairly close. But Baylor, they've just looked better than Texas this year. I'm shocked that Texas is still ranked a very overrated team. I'm picking Baylor in this game, 44-34. Sick 'em Bears. Number 4, very interesting game. Number 17, Texas Tech versus number 23, TCU. TCU, tough loss to, like I said, Iowa State a couple weeks ago, and Texas Tech just coming off a dominating win versus West Virginia. So shocking. Seth Dodge I think he's a front runner for the Heisman right now. Maybe just a little behind Colin Klein, but I think he has a big game, and so does his Texas Tech offense. I'm picking Texas Tech in this game, 25-24. TCU got their quarterback suspended. Definitely, they have a lot of question marks around them right now. I think that Texas Tech dominates this game, 45-24. Tech. Number 4, Kansas State versus number 13, West Virginia. West Virginia, they just, like I said, they got killed by Texas Tech. Not feeling so good about them this season. I think that Colin Klein's going to outplay Geno Smith. Geno Smith, he was the front runner of the Heisman after that big loss to Texas Tech. Just completely fell. Now Colin Klein's the front runner. Colin Klein reminds me a lot of Tim Tebow. He really does. His style of play, he's a great guy, great role model, and just his faith. So I think he kind of reminds me of Tim Tebow. I think he outplays Geno Smith in this game, and Kansas State wins 48-37. But they're playing this game at West Virginia. Very tough place to play. And number 2, number 6 LSU versus number 18 Texas A&M. Texas A&M fans are geeked up for this game. And then Sam Montgomery landed in Houston, and they evacuated. If you haven't heard, there was a bomb threat on the University of Texas A&M. That's going on all around the country. These bomb threats that happened to LSU a couple weeks ago, and then UT about 2 months ago. And yeah, it's bad. It's kind of getting out of control. But they evacuate today. Game's still on for tomorrow. At least I hope. So I think LSU. LSU definitely a frustrating and tough loss against Florida, and they come back and beat the number 3 team in the nation at home. I was there, it was just incredible. And the stadium behind me is just so loud. Such a great place to play. Such a tough place to play for the opponents. So and then they came. I think that LSU, they regained momentum. So I think that John and there's all this hype about Johnny Manziel. Excuse me, NFL fans, Johnny Football. Um, he's I think he's way overrated. I'm just being honest. I mean, Johnny Manziel. I mean, he faced a good defense this year in Florida and just got completely shut down. He faces a good he allowed 6 turnovers. The offense allowed 6 turnovers against Ole Miss. Ole Miss. Imagine how much he's going to allow against LSU. I think LSU rolls over A&M in this game. I don't care about how close how hyped that stadium is going to be. I mean, I think LSU is just going to dominate this game and be back in the national title hunt. I think LSU wins this game big time, 40-17. Like I said, Johnny Manziel just hasn't played anybody yet, and the A&M defense allowed 57 against Louisiana Tech last week. Not going to be pretty for the A&M defense. I think A&M loses this game big time. LSU wins 40-17. Game's at 11 o'clock. That stinks. Number one game of the week. Number 2, Florida versus number 7, South Carolina. South Carolina coming off a tough loss to LSU on the road. I think Florida wins this game 24-20. Jeff Driscoll and Gillensley, I expect to have a good big game, and I expect them to take down the Visor Boy in the swamp. Florida wins this game 24-20 to remain number 2 in the BCS rankings. Upset pick, here we go. South Florida against number 16 Louisville. Louisville is undefeated. Teddy Bridgewater's looking phenomenal. Who have they played? Nobody. I think South Florida, I mean, they almost beat Florida State, and that was definitely one of the reasons Florida State lost NC State the following week, because South Florida really they gave Florida State all they could handle, definitely wore them out. I think South Florida wins this game 38-34. That would, Louisville, that'd make the only unbeaten team in the Big East, Rutgers. Louisville, I think they're a good team, but I think they go down in this game. All right, thank you for watching the Elite 8 picks for Week 8. William Scott, 14-year-old sports writer. I'll be at Kyle Field tomorrow for the LSU A&M game, 11 o'clock. Come on, Longhorn Network. Really? You're going to put Argument 11 o'clock? Who cares about Baylor and Texas in prime time? Seriously. I mean, A&M LSU, that'd be a huge game. Everybody would watch. It just doesn't make any sense. The Longhorn Network needs to go out. I mean, they've just been, because of all these problems. But it is disappointing. But, at least there's a game. LSU A&M, 11 o'clock ESPN tomorrow. I will be at Kyle Field for that game. Thank you for watching Elite 8 Picks, Week 8. William Scott.